Hello and good evening. It is the AFL Armchair Advisors. We are back in the studio coming to you live, well I say live, at the time of recording it's live, for round 7, of course, for this AFL season 2021. I'm your host Rich of the Armchair Advisors, of course. And joining me is a sad, a solemn, a remorseful, a downtrodden, a downbeaten, sensible Dan. How are you, mate?
I'm downbeaten, mate.
He is, yeah.
I'm downbeaten.
Indeed.
Can't lie.
No,
It's hurting my soul.
It's been rough. Before I get to the monstrosity in the corner over here, we must say this evening will be installing a portrait of Armchair Advisors mascot Leroy Warland into the Armchair Advisor Gallery of Distinction. He is, of course, our mascot. You'll see him on some of our very early promotional stuff. He's up on the YouTube page. And, well, Dan, tell us. He's decided to run off that big kettle in the sky, hasn't he? He
has. He's gone to look for the Holy Grail, and he will not be coming back anytime soon. Unfortunately, he's gone to the Rainbow Bridge. So we love you, Leroy, and he'll be forever the mascot, the first,
absolutely,
the original. But unfortunately, he's gone. So sad week in the sensible household.
It is a sad
Very
week.
sad.
Now, let's get to the elephant in the room if we're talking about animals. What are you doing? Where have you?
Well.
What are you doing? It's Desmond Van Buss, of course, our global field correspondent for those listening on the podcast. But mate, what have you got to say for yourself?
Well, I was in Rwanda and I heard the big news, the big sad news, and I had to rush back, but I had no time to change. So just to put it, I like zebras, all right? I like zebras. So as you can see, I was trying to blend in with the local zebra tribe of Rwanda.
The tribe of Rwanda as well. There's one zebra tribe in Rwanda.
Just one.
I wasn't successful because obviously the news cut my trip short. But I thought this outfit here, I wore the hat because I am very pale in skin, so that the sun is not my friend in any country.
Well, yeah, no, sure, yeah.
So I've got the long sleeve zebra on, and but yeah, I had to rush. I had no time. So I've literally just got off the plane from Rwanda.
So imagine sitting next to this man in a plane wearing a full head to toe leopard print pelt and a straw hat.
Do you know what I felt like?
But people on the plane would understand because there's only one zebra tribe in the whole of Rwanda, so they know what he was doing immediately. They're like, he's going to hang out with the zebras.
There were 3 people
Just
on that
the one.
plane. It was the pilot, it was the hostess, and it was me. But I actually felt like Scooby-Doo in the first movie, he dressed up as grandma.
Yes.
That's very similar to how I feel right
Except his disguise was arguably more successful and he blended in better than what you would anywhere, really. I mean, I can't think of too many places outside of some sort of gay orgy in which you could get away with this kit that you're wearing. But look, you came back in memoriam for Leroy. We appreciate you coming back as quickly as what you did. We will let you get back to Rwanda as soon as we're done this show. I'm
very excited.
We do need to leap into this show. We have got an absolute mammoth round 7 show ahead for you folks. Oh boy, let's kick it off. Friday night at the MCG, it is the Richmond Tigers versus the Western Bulldogs. Sensible Dan, who's getting this one done and why?
Well, this was set to be an absolute barn burner last week. I couldn't wait. All the big names coming out to play, and now all the big names are just about on the sidelines, packed it in for the next couple of weeks. So, bit sad on that front, but it should still be an absolute cracker. I'm expecting this to be match of the round, no two ways about it. Tigers are in need of a little bit of a scalp here. I think that they need to get a big win. And the Dogs are just a team to beat.
Is it time to hit the panic alarm at Punt Road? Too soon? Too early?
If they win this,
yeah.
No, just jokes. Look, I don't think it's time to hit the panic stations. We've discussed at length, week on week. They know when to get up and about, and they do it better than anybody. Last week was a real kick in the teeth for them. They got absolutely trounced, really.
Big time.
Once Dusty left the game, that was it. And I think that presents a big issue. Dusty being out is you pull the heart out of a body. What happens? Dies. And I think that's what happens here.
Very interesting. What do we reckon, Des?
I agree, but I agree on who's going to win. I think the Dog is going to get up. I think it's going to be. I think they've still got the talent, even though they've got the big outs. they've still got the talent to roll over the Tigers, especially if the Tigers play how they did last week from the second to the fourth quarter. They played all right in the first quarter. They dominated play. They look like Richmond. They look like a normal Richmond side. And then obviously, as everyone saw, they got rolled bad by a D's tide. But
Dogs just look untouchable though. They just look untouchable at the moment. Everything they do is perfect. Even if like GWS kept pace with them for a lot of the game, and then they just rolled.
And that's just what they do. They just it's like when a shark, or alligator, they grab you and they take you out to
death roll them
until you can't breathe. And you think this poor little sheep, as I saw in Rwanda, there are gators in Rwanda. Poor little sheep just got dragged into the swamp. Guess what? He thought he could swim for about 5 seconds until he realised.
So the sheep in this analogy is Richmond, and the alligator is dogs.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. But I don't think it's panic stations for Richmond. I don't, because they'll come out and win, 8 games in a row in the middle of the season. Everyone will be riding on the bandwagon. So if they lose to the Western Bulldogs, I think it'd be a good time to have a look at the odds for the premiership. So I reckon they'd be paying $7-8.
And we saw this exact same scenario a few years ago.
I was just thinking that
blokes started dropping like flies for the Tigers. They brought in all these kids, and all it did was set them up well in September because they had the deepest league in the league again.
Last year for COVID, Koch and all that were leaving. I was bagging Richmond, saying lack of culture, and then look at them. So they know what they're doing. They've proved me wrong before, so I'm not going to jump off the Richmond Premiership bandwagon, but that's not what's at hand this week. Doggy's going to get up.
Making a lot of sense. For those who aren't aware of the Tigers' current injury concerns, once you're done just rampaging through the set here.
I just rhinoceros the table.
You are unbelievable. Look, there's no Dusty's out with a concussion for at least a week. No Lambert, no Grimes, probably no Grimes as it stands, busted an ankle. No Vlosten. That's a big uh-oh. Do you know what I mean?
And
that's
likely no McIntosh as well.
Do you know what I mean?
There's blokes.
It's problematic. Now, you could say, well, look, Chol can come back in. He's got experience. Jack Ross can come back in. He's got experience. Maurice Rioli and Egg, Callum Coleman-Jones.
I'd like to see Paddy Nash get another go as well.
Yeah, he bloody deserves it. Well, I'd like the look of him in 2019 when we saw a big chunk of him. Look, they've got lads with experience that can come back in, but no one's replacing Dusty. He's got the talismanic effect of Lance Franklin, but he's actually good and stays on the field and does stuff, which is arguably more important.
That's the best analogy ever.
Just quietly as well. Dusty is so durable. I think, what were they saying last week? He played 249 out of a possible 257 prior to last week. That's ridiculous considering the role he plays, how physical he is. Yeah. But it's probably the softest concussion I've ever seen. It was. Sometimes
that's how it happens. Those innocuous things.
It was nothing. I know. It was crazy. Crazy
can you go down?
It's sometimes that's the way it goes. Look, no Dunkley either for the Dogs, of course, out with a shoulder recon, going to be gone for 3 months. But look, it feels like the Tigers are just trending down just a little bit, just at the moment, and the Dogs are trending up. So look, I've got to jump on the Doggies bandwagon here, 1-39 for mine. And as you mentioned just beforehand, the Giants stayed with them and dragged them down into like a nasty defensive-y sort of a contest. And the Dogs just weathered it and then bounced out and won by, 40 points in the end?
Started chipping the ball around, tied the Giants out, and then like you said, just dragged them under the water and finished them off. I'll be interested to see. I think there's going to be some kids getting about in this game who are going to be taking the limelight that they'll be getting in a few years' time, like Shai Bolton. Yeah. He's looked great the last couple of weeks, and now with Dusty out, time to shine.
Always
you would think Baz Smith will get back in the middle for the Dogs now that Dunkley's out as well. He'll join that rotation. So
I thought Lipinski comes in.
It's going to be good to see a few of the kids getting a bit more airtime.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it comes down to the Dogs have got speed, just like what Melbourne did, and we saw what Melbourne did to the Tigers last week, and that was with Dusty. So no Dusty. Look, I don't want to say I told you so, but I think that's where it's going. Let's talk a few bets. I have got a little multi for you.
Surprise.
I was picking. Who'd have thought it? I was picking up exactly what you were saying about Shai Bolton. Shai Bolton for 25 or more is paying something like $1.91 at the minute.
Yep.
So I had to. I had to do it to him. I had to do it to him. Shai Bolton in there for 25. A big Bash Hooley in for 20. I want McRae for 30. I want Treloar for 25, and I want Treloar for a goal at any time of the game. And that's paying about $7.40 at the moment.
Lovely. I had Treloar goal as well. And the other one I've got is Taylor Dre, 15 plus, $1.45. He just does 15 every week, easy. Buyer beware. Stay away from Caleb Daniel. He's had a massive role change, and he looks stinky. So if you're looking at laying any money on that, don't.
Don't do that.
Absolutely don't do that.
Don't go there. You got anything to add?
No helmet, no bet.
No? No helmet,
Well,
no bet.
he still has the helmet, but no bet.
Do the good folk of Rwanda have any bets for this game?
No, they don't actually know what football is. They don't have TVs.
But I'm sure there are some TVs somewhere in Rwanda.
Not in the forest where I was.
Not in the zebra tribe, mate.
No, when the zebras wouldn't have TVs, that's fair.
what I mean.
I'll pay that.
Marty from Madagascar has never watched the TV, and he talks. So like,
You've
all I'm saying.
You've got a genuine mental illness. We are going to go to the first Saturday afternoon game at the G. It is the Collingwood Magpies versus the Gold Coast Suns. Now, this is a really, really intriguing game for mine. I'll be sitting there to watch this one. You probably wouldn't have 6 weeks ago thought, what's the point? But Pies are in all sorts. This is a team that genuinely looks beaten. All the chats around Buckley's gone. I don't know of any one player at the Pies at the minute who's getting good press. Everyone's copping it in the ring. From the coach, from the president all the way down. Now, that sort of negativity, well, we've seen with the Crows in recent times what that does.
Just drowning.
We've seen with GWS as well, a little bit of that, but this is, the Pies are very gettable. And for a team like the Suns that are now coming in off of a really good unexpected win over what
wasn't unexpected for two blokes at this table, was it?
Hey, the Des Dog of the Week, baby. Hits all the time. I'm like 5 of 6.
And we were confident. We were real confident.
I think Sydney are almost done, but that's another
Another story for another segment.
Go the Suns.
It is indeed. Look, Suns got up, obviously, and it was not just got up. They got up. They got up.
Yeah,
they got up.
I was not surprised at halftime when they were like 4 goals up at halftime. And I'm thinking they're about to roll them big time here. And you know the Desticles were tingling.
Always a bad sign.
Always.
You know what was the best part of that win, though? No new injuries. No new injuries, nice. And blokes like Anderson. Anderson went to another level in that game. That was his best game I think he's ever played.
Yeah.
But
and they're just getting about with no ruck.
They don't care.
How does it work? I didn't understand it.
Who gives a crap? Pointless.
Well, yeah.
But they're likely to get one back. Zach Smith looking like he's going to be ready either this week or next.
I suspect he does another week in the twos. But if he's not playing, then boy, oh boy, is Grundy going to eat. But having said that, I don't think that's going to matter too much. And I'll state why, because I think Sinclair was rucking for the Swans on the weekend. The dude had something like 51 hit-outs. That's just stupid. Did it matter? No. And you say, oh yeah, but the hit-outs, it gets first use for the midfield. I would typically agree.
Yep.
If you look at the stats from that Sydney game, I think 4 of the top 6 disposal getters for that game was Kennedy, Parker, Mills, and Lloyd. And they still lost by 40 points.
Look, I said it weeks ago. A lot of that comes down because the Suns' defense is actually elite. Like they've got a seriously good
stingy.
They've got a seriously good back line, and they're just rolling the Tiger strategy of just popping an extra midfielder in the centre. And if they're not getting the not getting the clearances, they're making you earn it big time. So
genuinely, and I would put it to you that the Swans midfield is performing a lot better than the Pies at the minute, which is ballsy to say because Sidey, I love Sidey. We all love Pendles.
We all do, yeah. Everyone.
But after Sidey and Pendles, it's now fallen away, hasn't it?
Pendlebury was making mistakes as well, and like that fourth quarter, Pendlebury turned the ball over more than I've ever seen in my life. And I love Pendlebury. I'm a big rider on the Pendlebury train, and if he's making mistakes,
but the thing is, he has to wind down at some point.
Does he?
Pendlebury.
I mean, how old is he now? 32?
And he's looking every bit of it. He's
the last couple of weeks, but mentally, what's that doing?
He's still getting stats, but he can't carry that midfield on his back anymore. And Sidebottom's doing his bit, but after that, like you said, it's just falling away. Like they were running Josh Thomas through there on the weekend. That's just disgusting.
I think I saw Big Jackie Moon go through the wing at some point. There, Jack Magin, if I saw correctly.
He did not have a good game, but they're young kids like Rantau, great ball winner at VFL level, plays in the forward pocket. Finley McRae looked all right in that fourth quarter when he played on ball against the Eagles. Spent the whole day at half forward. You've got to get the kids into the middle. If you're going to suck, you might as well suck with kids. That sounds wrong. But anyway, look.
It's normally you that comes out with these.
You get what I'm saying, though.
If you're going to suck, you might as well suck with kids.
That is the most sensible thing that has ever come out.
It could have been a lot worse. I think it was just the presence of the word suck and kids in the same sentence.
Replace the with the.
He's all 6 and 7.
No,
I can't believe
it.
I see what my belt's getting sweaty. I agree, though. I agree 100%.
Yeah, they've got to admit that they're struggling. Yeah. They're in a rebuild and play the kids in their preferred positions.
I would agree with you on that one. And what's interesting, you talk about preferred positions. No more in the back line now makes King a very dangerous prospect for the Suns because that Collingwood back line, blokes like Maynard and Crisp, elite. They're not tall boys. They're not big, massive intercepting defenders.
Mate, without Moore back there, Roughhead just looks lost. Absolutely lost. Cannot deal with it.
Look, he's a Starsky without a hutch.
It is.
And he needs a hutch.
Yeah.
He needs a hutch. So that'll be, I think,
So
king for a big bag.
You're tipping the Suns?
1-39.
Yeah, I'm on the Suns. It was very, very close to being the dog of the week, but I've got something better.
Oh, hold on. It's got to be the zebra of the week, surely.
I'm also going the Suns, so you know what that means.
Consensual consensus.
I'd be very surprised with this. If you told me this a couple of weeks ago, far out, I'd be surprised.
Mate.
Pies are dust.
Even like 2 weeks ago.
Just waiting.
Yeah. Heads on the block.
This will be the week.
Heads on the block.
Multi.
What am I doing? Multi-time. All right, let's have a look. I've got five legs. I've got Josh Corbett, anytime goal scorer. Bit of a weird one because he's had 3 in the last 2 weeks. Isaac Rankin, anytime goal scorer. I think he's about the same at the minute. Big Uncle Grundfos, 20 touches, and that alone is paying something like $1.60 or something ridiculous.
Yep.
He'll have that. Jack Crisp, 25 plus, and I just got a bit silly with this last one. Nick Holman, 15 plus touches, and he's had that the last 2 weeks that he's been in.
If you're ever going to do it, it's against the Pies. What I'll add to that, Gold Coast at the line, plus 12.5. Money for jam at the moment. If Gold Coast is going to get up, I think they can do the same thing they did to Sydney. And old big Chonkus Miller for 25 plus, having a career year so far. $1.45, so I love that value.
Not Chonkus. That is the funniest thing I've heard.
Chonkus. He is Big Chonk Miller.
Yeah, big Chonk Miller, mate.
Oh, I love it.
We love Chonk Miller here at the show.
Yeah, we love him.
We fucking love Chonk Miller here at the show. All right, chaps, let us move it on to the second Saturday afternoon game at the Adelaide Oval between the Adelaide Crows and the GWS Giants. Now then, Zebra Van Buss, tell us about this one, mate. What are you looking for here?
Was a little bit disappointing with the Crows. Just not in performance, because 15 straight goals. In my memory, I don't know if I've ever seen Adelaide kick straight. Normally we're like 1 in 15. Like, we love to miss goals in down south. So to see that was very nice, and to see Thilthorpe, I got to come up with a nickname for him. I think it's just going to be, and it can't be Thilly. I think it's just going to have to be Tilly.
No, come on. All right, let's get this out now. Let's come out with a nickname right now. So you said
Torpedo's
not bad.
I mean, I just said Sweet Chili Thilly on Saturday.
Sweet Chili Thilly's on.
I like that.
Sweet Chili.
I did refer to him as Teabag in the chat.
Yeah.
He's Big T. He had a bag. Teabag. Theodore.
Yeah, I do like that. Big Theodore Bagwell.
It's Teabag.
Yeah.
Teabag right there. Nah, he played unreal, and his first touch was average, and then his second touch he turns it over for a Hawthorn goal. Which I'm looking going, oh no, young fella's going to have no confidence for the rest of the game.
Yep.
Goes in slots 5.
To bounce back from that position, because I think it was his second disposal where he kicked it into the man on the mark.
Yeah, it was number 2.
Straight onto his chest.
2 touches, 2 turnovers.
Quite possibly one of the worst disposals I've ever seen.
Horrendous.
At any level, ever. And
Pick number 2.
to turn around and go 5 straight after that, unreal.
We actually played pretty well. Hawthorn aren't a bad side, especially in Tassie, but Hawthorn aren't a horrible side. So for us to lose by 3 points, they really should have rolled Geelong that week. They're a lot better than what paper says. So absolutely. I'm not disappointed with the 3-point loss. It was just disappointing how it came about by being so far ahead.
I actually think this is a genuinely intriguing matchup at the moment.
I'm excited.
But both teams are sort of in that, will they make finals? Will they not make finals? Are they terrible? Are they good? No one really knows who either of them are at the moment.
None of them are, just to put it out there. I don't see either making finals.
Neither do I, but the intrigue's there. If you get 4 points here, that sets you up all right for the next couple of weeks. So,
hugely so.
Yeah, look, we've said it a few times now. Giants look better with Toby Green as captain. They've been talking midweek. They've got to have the conversation with Cogs at some point.
I think it's coming.
He just has to know too. I feel like he
has to.
It makes sense.
Has to. And Lockie Ash, what an absolutely mammoth game he had.
Just ridiculous. What do you have, like 35 touches, something like that?
Yeah, just monster. Absolute monster. Have had a bit of mail that Lockie Whitfield is looking likely to play this week. Don't know whether that'll be at AFL level, but that just strengthens the Giants even further. So I don't think the Giants are playing great footy, but if you continue on this track that they're on at the moment, is finals out of the question? We'll see.
For the Giants?
As I said, they really did hold the Dogs for 3 quarters. They looked all right. I'm not saying they're playing good footy, but I think they'll be hovering around that mark.
No, but this is now... Sorry, I'm actually trying to find a multi because I did have one saved and I must have deleted it. I'm very, very annoyed, and I was actually frothing on this multi.
Richest deleted.
It is this week. I'm very disappointed. But the Giants, it seems like they're now, as I mentioned earlier, they're now starting to try to get into, well, we're not going to win this game, but by gar, we're not going to let you win this game. And that's how we're going to win, by not letting you win,
Makes
not
sense.
us winning.
That's what they did last year.
You get
worked
me?
well. Actually, that's what they did to get into the grand final in 2019. So it makes sense. It's a winning formula for that team.
It is.
Well, it seems to be. It seems to be. No, look, I think the first half of that Crows game gave us a glimpse of the future as to what's coming. And then to quote Marshall Mathers, it was back to reality in that second half. But, you know, you just have to start playing sensible football, boys. I mean, what sort of mental deficiencies do you have to spend a quarter and a half bombing a ball out of a back line to the same spot every single time to then get marked, or not even marked, just contest, bang, punch, scooped up by Hawthorn, return to sender?
I mean, look,
what are you doing?
Whoever's organising that kick out to the right hand side of the field for starters, disgraceful. But I've got to put a little bit of heat on Riley O'Brien there. I mean, Ben McAvoy marked it at least 3 times, doing the same thing. He wasn't even putting any heat on him. No. For God's sake, anything, do something. Like,
punch.
Hurts me. It breaks my heart every time.
I mean, that last quarter of footy was one of the worst I've ever seen.
Oh, my, yeah.
You know, you can blame the sub. Tom Lynch stuff was just so amateur. You got all these players playing in the SANFL who are fit, healthy, and you choose the guy who's carrying a foot injury.
And 900 years old.
Like, come on. It's just... but even then, you can't blame that. The whole game plan in the second half, fourth quarter especially, just...
I'm very biased, but I'm going to say something positive. I think Jacko played real well. Jacko Haley.
Young Jackson
and
Haley,
that's because,
absolutely.
just back to your Collingwood point, they put him in the centre and let him do his thing. That's all you need to do. Is that
and he was
some
running
of these
with Tom
kids,
Mitchell for a lot of the
he was unreal.
And still pulled in, 17, 18 touches?
That's not bad. So
anyway,
onto my best bet for the entire week. Jacko 15 plus again, $1.45. Easy money.
He'll get that.
Easy money.
He'll get 20.
Easy money.
What's 20 pound, you reckon? And sit in the $2, $2.10.
It was about $2.10 when I just saw it just beforehand. I'm liking that. You've been sticking your nose into my trough over here in terms of bets. Now it's interesting. They don't have any markets up yet for Hogan to kick a goal, but apparently I'm hearing my mail says that he's coming in this week. And it'll be Connor Stone, either Connor Stone or Jake Riccardi drops out and Hogan probably comes in. So that'll be very interesting. Could be a bit of a spark. And they're going to need it because big Finners and Himmelberg just aren't doing enough. And Green is, but he can't be everywhere at once.
Not doing anything. I haven't heard anything good about them all year.
Oh, they had, I think, 2 goals apiece last week, but so what? Like, they were just junk goals. You know what I mean? Like, they were doing the bare minimum, and you need to do more than the bare minimum. So Jacko Haitley, 15 touches. That was the first leg in this one. Love Wacko Jacko. Lockie Scholl, 20 plus, back at home. Should rake that up pretty quick. Big Tarantula Taranto. Yeah, it's Timmy time. Get him for 25. Rory Ladd for 25. And Riley Thilthorpe, anytime goal first quarter.
Oh, teabag. Bang.
Teabag in the first.
I'm very, very excited. It's my first Crows game all year. Haven't been to the Crows this year.
We're going.
Very excited.
We're going. You coming?
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
gone. The only other one I chuck on there is Lockie Murphy, $1.83 for a goal. I think that's pretty good value, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
he's usually good for one every couple of games. Didn't jag one on the weekend, so
he likes it at home.
He does.
He likes it at home. And all that 5-legger there was worth $9.50.
Oh, that's not too bad. I'm putting the tip out there too. I got the Crows to win. Crows to win purely from the home factor.
Did you say?
We didn't. I've got Giants.
I've got Crows.
Yeah, I knew you were leaning Giants by the way we're talking. I got Crows to win. I don't know. Giants have played some shocking footy this year, and I hope that's the footy they bring to Adelaide.
Crows have a good record against the Giants at Adelaide.
Yeah,
that swayed me.
Yeah, I'm betting with the heart. Go the Crows.
Desmond, is it time for a little a jungle-themed scramble, perhaps?
No.
Of course, because I've been called in early, I knew that I have to figure out a scramble, and I'm thinking I'm on the way home from Rwanda. It's me and Catherine, the air hostess, and I couldn't talk to the pilot because he was obviously driving the plane.
Driving the plane.
I also love how he keeps going, we've rushed him back here. What do you mean? Like, you would have had to be here anyway. What do you mean how could you not get changed? Why did you just walk in the door from Rwanda and straight into the studio?
You know what time we do this at? It's the same time every week.
You know, when you come back from customs, you're not allowed to have any dirt on your shoes. So I spent the last hour getting my shoes cleaned. Fun facts. I'm
still getting over the pilot driving the plane. Just put it into reverse, mirror check, hands at 10 and 2.
Yeah, indicates to come out.
3-point turn. All right, safari themed. I'm going to... So this is safari themed. I'm back to questions this week. I'm just going to ask you guys, because my answer's a hippo. So if you could be any African animal, what would you be and why? This is for both of you guys.
Ooh.
Just to get the brain going.
Any African.
African animal. That has to live in Africa.
So any animal then.
Yeah.
I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Probably got a rhino.
Yeah, cool.
I'd be a giraffe. Yeah.
That's sick.
Majestic, tall.
Yeah. I like
I-
hippos because hippos, no one fucks with hippos. They like eat everything.
I was going to say, I just like the idea of being fat as hell. It's
Unreal.
Be halfway there.
big, thick, chonky.
All right. Well, I've got a Richmond question for Richie. Which Richmond player reminds you of the dung beetle?
Grimes. It's just every.
Yeah.
It's just that. It's that.
He cleans up all the
this
shit.
face.
Hey, he cleans up all the
And
shit.
there's that about it.
There's that about it.
All right. Which Crows player is a lion and which Giants player is a zebra this week?
Which Crows player is a lion?
Yeah, and which Giants player is a zebra?
Oh, just for this week. Sheesh. Oh, look, Andrew McPherson's got the hair, so yeah.
He's absolutely not playing this week. I promise.
Yeah, but still, it doesn't matter. I'll chalk him up. I'll chalk him up as a
down.
lion. And giant who? What?
Giants
Zebra.
player is a zebra. Who's he going to hunt down?
Bloody hell. Bobby Hill.
Toby Green.
Bob Hill's nice.
Bobby Hill, small, slight,
All right.
Can run.
can run.
Beautiful. So think of the 7-8 elite Western Bulldogs midfielders. Do they enjoy toffee-flavoured African jelly?
Are you asking me or him?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Yes, they do.
Why?
I was just hoping I could breeze through this
Yeah.
one just quickly.
Nah.
Damn it. No, he snared me. What was it? Toffee flavoured what?
African jelly.
African jelly. Toffee flavoured African jelly. Do the Bulldogs midfielders like it? They do because it's just that little sugar hit that just sparks them up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Beautiful. All right, Dan, which player, past or present, suits the nickname Cowboy?
Don't look to me for help. I'm not helping you.
Jeepers. I mean, there's a billion players from the country.
Yeehaw.
I don't. Stuart Lowe.
I was thinking Cal Ward.
Why?
He's got the hair for it.
Yeehaw.
He's got like a Walker, Texas Ranger type of vibe.
I'd say
going
Baz.
on. Baz?
Baz the Cowboy.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right, Rich. What animal noise does Captain Carlton make every time they lose a game they should win?
It's the end bit that did me. Every time they lose a game, they should win. Which
Which is
does it
every
make?
game. Which is every game. No, it's not every game. They game. Oh,
I think it's that typical sort of dog noise, like when a dog gets scared or he gets hit or something, and it makes that, and it just runs off with its tail between its legs. I think that's him. But like, does he have a shield, Captain Carlton?
he does.
Yeah.
With his shield over his head,
Oh,
just
that's
ducking
very
into
funny.
it.
That is very funny. All
what
right,
I'm
final
saying.
question. This is the toughest one. Which player from any Victorian team, Dan, has the most aardvark or meerkat-like tendencies?
Hardbark or meerkat.
You've been hammered with these.
Yeah, this is not good. So I'm assuming meerkat. Like obviously, I'm thinking the one that's looking up,
Yeah, that's them.
looking around for danger, but
Compare the pair.
doesn't want to get involved
The meerkats.
in any danger.
Victorian. Can be Victorian born. That would not help me at all.
This is tough.
It is tough. I'll jump in with the aardvark one.
No,
I reckon-
Victorian born doesn't like to get in trouble. Andrew Gaff. Doesn't
Actual, yeah.
doesn't
He's
like-
got the brows.
He does, yeah.
Meerkats have got the brows. He's got the brows.
Yeah, doesn't like the contact. Just keeps an eye out for everyone else.
Yeah,
I
and
respect
sprints away at the first sign of danger.
Yeah.
I'll
Who's the aardvark?
I'll get you with the aardvark one. I reckon Mitch Brown at the D's. Because when you said aardvark, because Arthur, in Hey Arthur, he's an aardvark, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he does look like Mitch Brown.
Looks like Mitch Brown.
That's perfect.
If you took
That's the best answer.
Yeah.
Gravel ever.
It just instantly came to mind, and I'm like, perfect. I'm
I
down with
like
that.
it. All right, let's get into some more footy.
Footy time.
Safari's away.
Thank God for that. Okay, third Saturday afternoon game at Marvel. It's the St Kilda Saints versus the Hawthorn Hawks. Sensible, Dan. What's the...
Oh, you've done me dirty. You've done me
Go
done
on,
me
just
dirty.
get it done. Come
All right,
on.
Hawkers
come
are the
on.
underdogs. Do you know what? They're going to continue. As Richie likes to say, I'm going to steal this from Rich. You finish a game. More than likely how you finish a game is how you're going to start the next game. More or less. He says it much nicer than that. But that's what the Hawks going to do. Because they finished off that last half like real well. And
There's no way they're the dogs in this game. Surely.
yeah, they're paying $2.01, which is really
They
weird
are
because normally they're just
$2.36.
Ooh, it's blown out.
$2.36.
Yeah.
Dullius.
Oh, the Footy Live app has done me dirty. $2.36 is a steal because St Kilda are not playing good footy. They seem to be getting bashed around each week, and I know it's by Richmond and by Port, and even before they lost a couple of shonky games, but
But they're just toothless. They're
horrible.
They're not even firing any shots.
they're horrible.
Apart
And
from that,
Hawthorn are.
apart from that one half against West Coast, they've been the worst team in the league this year. Just
yeah,
about.
no question.
I would
I
say.
agree.
They turned the toes up at the first sign of difficulties. That second half against Port, none of them wanted to be there.
No.
None of them.
They were just on to next week.
That was one of the worst games I've seen for the year. And no disrespect to Port for that. Port just did what Port were going to do.
Of course.
St Kilda made that a Scheisenhausen game.
I mean, and basically Port put the cue in the rack as well, because it looked to me, when I was watching it, I was like, St Kilda don't want to be here, so why would Port put the hammer down?
Training drill.
Like,
Makes sense.
why bother getting injured for next week? Just,
Who's going to stop
Do it,
Jath? That's my question. I'm cutting in. Who's going to stop Jath from St Kilda? Think about that game. Like, he's going to...
No one.
Hulkamania.
Literally no
To all
one.
the Hulk Hogan fans out there, which is everyone that watches Armchair Advisors, Hulkamania is going to run wild. Jathamania is going to run wild because, oh man, who's going
St
to stop
Kilda,
him?
we coming for you!
Can't doubt to me. Can't doubt to me. But yeah, Jath has been eating his vitamins and saying his prayers, drinking all the milk because he has been running wild against everyone. Who's going to stop him? No one's going to stop him.
one.
He is what they wanted Brad Hill to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And St Kilda don't have the ticket to stop him anyway.
No.
They just don't.
And the Fords, unreal.
St Kilda's
five.
just quietly second last in points for and against.
Jeez.
That-
And against.
Yeah.
So teams...
So like as in second worst.
Yeah.
I'm with you,
I
yeah.
thought you
Like-
meant
like-
like they had good defense.
like-
I was like,
yeah.
are you kidding me?
No,
They
no,
get
no,
smashed every week,
No,
don't they?
second, like as in second worst.
So
That-
second
Yeah.
most conceded points
Yep.
of any team
Yep.
and second least scored points for
Yep.
any team.
Yeah,
Just-
so Hawthorn Dogs,
There's a
unreal.
stat.
That's
you-
dollar right
and
there.
who would the bottom be for both categories?
Surely
Yeah.
North.
It's North. That's it.
I'm
And
cutting
there's
in
not,
now.
and there ain't a lot separating them. St Kilda have been bad.
That stinks. And
They're,
look,
like, they're getting away with it a little bit because North is so terrible.
yeah.
Um,
And Carlton. Everyone once again, all of Victoria focuses on how bad Carlton is, and it's hilarious.
yeah.
Dog of the week and lock of the week now. Hawthorn are going to win.
Yeah,
Lock-
same.
That's my lock of
You
the
know
week.
what?
It's my lock of the week.
Pulled it. He's pulled it.
Put his face next to it just for the camera.
Nah, won't be doing that.
Doesn't want to be
Nah,
affiliated.
Hawks are locked. $2.36. Baby.
Oh,
That's, and
So,
they're gonna have-
I cannot put any stock in the Saints at all at the moment. Hawthorn should run over them.
well,
That's
they're
it.
going to have massive confidence after being 32 points down against the Crows and then coming back and winning. That is, and the Crows, they had 15 goals in a row to then turn around and come back and win. That's mammoth. That's going to do
and they
so
played
much for
good
your
footy to
confidence.
do it
They
as well.
did,
and
yeah.
they probably should have won by more than 3 points. We were lucky to only we being Adelaide to lose by 3. Like we should have lost by more.
No, I tell you what, as much as I appreciated Kaczynski, and interesting stat for you, Kaczynski and Thilthorpe in that game is, I think, only the 4th time in recorded AFL, VFL, VFA history that you've had 2 players with both of them less than 5 games experience kicking 5 or more goals in a game each. One on either team.
The Rook Show.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
They were both awesome.
And as much as I love Kaczynski, I tell you what did it for me more. Tim O'Brien going back, down, back. Going back, down, back. Nice. He was down back. That's how back he was.
Going broke back.
But like, you've got the hat on. But he was.
And that queer poncho.
You naked under there. That's disgusting. But he was the sissy replacement.
Yep.
He was the Sicily replacement, and he looked great at it. Like he just went there and was like duck to water.
Yep.
Keep him there.
Yep.
He's clearly a better backman after one game than what he looks as a forward.
Yep.
Keep him there.
And a bit of chat. Gunston might possibly back this week as well, which is just that's a huge in for Hawthorn. Mm-hmm. One of the ultimate swingmen.
Double lock.
I can't get over the Hawks for this one. Hawks 1-39 for mine. Saints don't seem to want to run defensively. It seems like Steele, Clark, and Membry are the only consistent ones there. You're seeing flashes and bits and pieces out of other blokes, but looking through the stats from the last couple of games tells the story. Seb Ross pops up and has a 30-touch game and then goes missing and has a couple of 12ers. Do you know what I mean? Same with Billings, same with Sinclair.
Yep.
There's Butler does a little bit here and there, but not enough.
Higgins, all the usual suspects.
That's just the thing.
Who's
It's hard to
stepping up?
back in. It's hard to back in that even because we're all about making money, putting the money in the in the safe places.
No
And
consistency with
Saints. You think Saints, North Melbourne, even Carlton. Like I'd be careful with Carlton unless you're backing in Sam Walsh. I know he did me dirty in that.
They need Jaron Geary back. They are missing that man.
Like those teams just can't back it in. You just can't back in. Put big money on those like horrible teams. It's bad places to put your money, boys.
Very bad indeed. Let's have a look at putting your money someplace. So I'm looking at Tom Mitchell, 30 plus, Jack Steele, 25, Big Chang at 20, and Josh Battle, 15.
Nice.
Battle's actually quietly just been racking up 16,
If
17,
your last
16,
name's Battle, then
18s.
that's gonna.
So I've got a 30,
Bump up the odds.
I've got a 30, a 25, a 20, and a 15 this week, and that together is paying about $5.40.
I like Wingard for a goal this week. Just a feeling more so than any stats to back it up.
it's a sensible
I think
tinkle.
yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
vibe.
If Hawthorn's going to get on the end of a few. Wingard definitely will be one of them. And that's $2 by itself, which is pretty good value. And Jarman Impey 15 plus, just been racking them
Fantastic.
up, down back, $1.36. Only small, but, whack it in with big Rich's multi and
Little
laughing.
fluffer.
I forgot about Impey. Impey's going to run wild too. Impey and Jath.
It seems like these days you have a knee and then you're out and then everyone just forgets about you. And Impey's been forgotten about, but shouldn't be. He's a good player.
He's unreal.
First Saturday night game now is at the SCG between, of course, the Sydney Swans and the resurgent Geelong Cats. Now, boys, we were talking about it last week on the show. If you were listening to us and got on board, well, at least these two in any case. But we were talking, and I did say it even though I tipped against them, but I did say that the Swans are starting to look tired. They are starting to look fatigued. That young, the young sort of back half of their players, like the kids aged, say, 23 and under, are just starting to look just a little bit tuckered out. Gee whiz didn't show up on the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
They looked buggered. And look, I know everyone goes on about, no Franklin Brett. And it's like, no. Look, come on. It starts in the centre. And once again, as I mentioned in the other game, the 4 biggest disposal winners they had was Lloyd, Kennedy, Parker and Mills. The usual suspects. But where was everyone else? Like Dawson had, I think, 2022.
And Mills wasn't even in the middle. Mills was down back for a lot of the day.
Exactly.
They're toying around with him down there again because of Rampy being out. I think they just look like the walking wounded at the moment. They're like
just a young team doing young team things.
But it's amazing, like that wave of momentum they had, where they were the AFL's hot property. Can they get back to the finals? Can they win a flag? All talk stop. Very, very.
I'm glad that we called it as well, like the advisors, because I know Richie may not have tipped the Suns, but you did call it. You called it. You said it's coming soon, so I'm glad that we called it. We know what we're doing.
Would you like to think so? Whereas on the other hand, Geelong's back. Mm-hmm. Geelong is back. Now that is the win that they needed, and not just against some pushover babies, but you get a contender.
Well, they turned West Coast into pushover babies. That's it.
But the West Coast, until that game, was still thought of as a contender.
Yeah, but West Coasters just do what West Coast does. They're just flat-track bullies. They'll go back to Optus this week. We're not going to talk about the Eagles for long, but they'll go back to Optus this week and get a big win, blah, blah. That's a huge win for the Cats. 100 points, nothing to turn your nose up at.
But against a contender, do you know what I mean? That's really what I'm saying here. It's a big difference between beating West Coast at your home deck versus North at your home deck. And that's going to set them up going forward now. I really like Geelong. I really like them for this, to the point that I'm going to pull out a lovely custom Italian leather handmade boot, and he's starting to get. No, I'm not. No, I'm turning a new leaf in 2021. I'm not going to beat the living suitcase out of you this time.
Thanks for looking after the Rwandan straw hat.
Well, they're not common, not easy to come by. But yeah, look, Geelong is my shoe-in for this week. I think I'm 3-1 on shoes at the minute. I'm pretty happy with that. Something along those lines. That's not bad. That's not bad.
We're all travelling pretty nicely.
Yeah, we actually are. Unreal. But no, look, I'm genuinely, this will be one of the midfield battles of the round, I reckon, because you're going to have Kennedy, who had 42 on the weekend. You've got Parker, who's having one of his best seasons to date. Mills is rolling through. Whereas, on the other hand, you've got Duncan, who's looking lethal all of a sudden. I feel like Dangerfield now not being there releases everyone else to just do what they're doing. Menegola's recovered. He's back in. You've got Hermit Guthrie running around, collecting touches at will, do what he wants. That's going to be a decent midfield going head-to-head with each other.
Not wrong.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yep, absolutely. Should be a good game.
I honestly can't actually add anything. I got Cats 40 plus.
Cats 40 plus.
Really, you stole my analysis. Like, once teams work out kids and rookies, they're toast. The kids don't have anything else. No other clubs
Gold
in the
Coast
bag.
have shown us that for the last 10 years.
Yeah, there's no other clubs to in the bag to lean on. So, once the teams figure out their Womwood, that's it.
And to make matters worse, I think two big outs that probably won't seem like them on the surface, but no Hewitt, no Blakey. That's a lot of defensive running that's just gone from that team. And a lot of the stuff that Hewitt does especially is your defensively minded stuff. Like, he's not flashy, lets other blokes get about it.
Yep.
He works his guts off when he doesn't have the ball.
And Blakey's one of the few players in that team that have a bit of X factor. Like, he's not been having a massive season, but every time he gets the balls in his hand, you just don't know what he's going to do with it. And like, teams need a little bit of that, and without it, bunch of blokes again.
Could be problems for the Swans. Let's have a look at a couple of bets, boys. Now then, look, I went to town on this one. Actually, I'll save this till last. You boys go first. We got bets wise.
Look, I had a couple. Bradley Close for a goal, $1.83. You
said that last week as well. I think, from memory. How'd he go?
He got up.
There you go.
So
they kicked 100 goals.
Yeah.
How many goals?
and Tomahawk for 2+. I think you have a nice little day down back. So
what did the Zebra tribe of Rwanda have for this game?
40+, mate.
40+?
40, do you know what? I'd even look at like 60+. Like I know they're playing at the SCG, I believe. Yes, they are. As I look at Richie's notes, 60+.
Slaughterhouse.
60+ is the bet. Well, because when Cats, as I know, because shout out to Cam. First shout out to Cam Popperwell. He's got me on the predicting well with the Cats. He seems to have that good read. And one thing that he's taught me is when Geelong are travelling well, they're travelling well and they like to put the pain on the teams. They're not like the up and down kind of... Like you see Richmond. Richmond will win by like 20 points and they just get the W. Like Geelong, they'll go... I reckon they're going to go on a bit of a stretch for the next couple of weeks. And I think 60+. 60+,
You heard
baby.
it here first, boys.
That's onions.
You heard it here first.
I'll look up what it is now.
All right, so this is the dumb one. I went to town here. So I'm looking at Isaac Smith, 20+. I'm looking at Callum Mills and Jake Lloyd and Luke Parker, 25+.
Okay.
I'm looking at Jordan Dawson, 20+ disposals. He's done that, I think, the last 3 games running. Mitch Duncan, anytime goal. He's got a little bit of a taste last week. I think he will have another one. Now, this is the big one. Tom Hawkins, anytime goal scorer in the fourth quarter, has done that every game in the last, I think, 5 games now. 5 games straight. He's kicked a goal. It'll be 4 or 5 games. It's minimum 4. I'm pretty sure it's 5.
Nice.
He's kicked a goal in the fourth quarter.
Nice.
So throw all that together and it's paying $25.
That is actually unreal. Mine, I've got 2 locks of the week this week. My second lock of the week is going to be Geelong at the line because it's -12.5. So that's $1.90 for Geelong to win by 13 or more points. Holy,
13 or more.
I'm about to have a heart attack here. Yeah, $1.90 for Geelong to win 13+. $4.50 for 40+. $4.50 for 40+. I'm picking my line right now, so bear with me. Well, Dan, you read out your bets.
You just did. You sausage.
Oh, yeah, you said close. That's right.
Mong.
All right. $11 for Geelong to win 60+.
I put worse money on things at $11 than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could bet on North Melbourne every week, or you could bet on Geelong 60+.
You heard it here first. Alrighty, fellas, let's have a look at the second Saturday night game. At the Gabba, it's the Brisbane Lions versus the Port Adelaide Power. Desmond Van Buss.
This is my most exciting game of the week. This is the Des game of the week, I think, because I like Brisbane at the Gabba.
He's got a bit of chocolates on every single game, doesn't he?
He is. This is my such and such of the week. This is the week too. That's
how I get excited for the games. How I get excited for the footy.
No, we love.
I do love Brisbane at the Gabba. I do love them at the Gabba. And after they whooped Essendon, that was a couple of weeks ago, but they're back. They're in a bit of form at the Gabba. That's what I like to see. But I've still got Port. I know they had that little bit of a stumble, and it was weeks ago now against West Coast, but they've given me nothing to not back against them. They've given me nothing to hate on. So I think Port 1-39 at $1.72. I'd be careful. I know that's tasty odds, but because Brisbane could run over them here like they did last year. I've still got that memory in my mind when they beat them. What was it? 40, 50 points. Like they just rolled them, and that could happen. And I secretly hope it does. But for my tip,
secretly
Port 1-39.
Biased.
Yeah.
Just a biased.
Port 1-39. They're just playing such good footy, and Brisbane have shown us that when the chips are down, I know they got that goal after the siren, but that was against Collingwood. Like when the team puts a bit of pump, bit of pressure on them, they do crumble sometimes.
Well, let me add to that by throwing a few names at you. So no Darcy Gardner. No Mitch Robinson for this week. Very likely no Dan McStay. Possibly no Harris Andrews.
That's tough.
I haven't even got to the big one. No Lockie Neal.
That's tough.
No Lockie Neal.
I think Gardner's the big one. This is Gardner. No one's cleaning the garden. Who's doing? What's happened to the daisies? What's happened to the roses?
I'm going to kick him in the head, I swear to
that's
God.
one of the worst jokes you've ever seen.
Possibly big beast mode Matheson back in the team.
Yep, and it's not going to make a
Big base
damn
mode.
lick of difference.
No,
I'm actually going to, this was actually my lock prior to you getting me way too excited about Hawthorn. So I'm also going to lock this one up and go on double bag.
Oh, double locker.
The double dirty dipper lock.
Because Porsche's just too good a value in this game. And even without mentioning all the rest of them, it's going to be hard enough without Lockie Neal, let alone, that's a murderer's row. of an injury list.
Yeah.
Port's just in great form at the moment. I don't see any way the Lions get up here, to be honest with you.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think I went 1 to 39, but I feel like Port 25 plus is probably the safer one for mine. Port just looks so assured. They're not arrogant in the way they're playing. They're just going about what they know how to do. Mm-hmm. And they're just murdering blokes as they're doing it. It's unbelievable. They're a scary team at the minute. Yeah. This is a big test here because I think the short break and travelling to Brisbane combined together, I think could be a little bit of a test just to test the mettle a little. But I don't see them stumbling on this one. They're just going to saw through.
No. Not against Brisbane's an evil team.
Well, they like it up in Brisbane. We know this. Mm-hmm. They were top of the table the entire year last year, so we know they like it up there. Yep. But no, they're. Yeah. The short break in particular might be the only thing that tests them a bit. Amon and Houston in particular have just been huge, and they get no ramps outside of Alberton. Amon and Houston, especially not in Victoria. No. Wouldn't know what they look like.
And Houston's one of the best kicks in the comp.
Yeah.
I just got called by the Rwandan sports bet account. Port are paying $3.30 for 25 plus. If that tickles your fancy, if you're a Port supporter, you got to get on that. But just
money for jam.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that Rwandan sports bet. I'll hang that one up.
Money for jam. What I am looking forward to in this game from a Brisbane standpoint, Dev Robertson should get big midfield minutes now, and Klug has been dominating the last few weeks.
Klug has been unreal, and
it's going to be good to see a few of those kids and see if they can lift again. We think Brisbane's going to get smashed. But prove us wrong.
I'd love it. I would love them to prove me wrong. Every time I tip Port, and I have every game this year, I want all the teams to prove me wrong. I'd love Port to be the North Melbourne of the competition.
As I said last week, we just want good football. That's all we want.
Unless it's from Port. And I still don't like Port playing well.
We're not biased.
Port, unreal, to be honest. This is the most I've ever liked Port. So
take that.
And I like individual players. Individual players like Leroy.
Yeah, all Australian backline at the minute.
Not according to the armchair experts, mate. Not us, by the way.
He's the best defender in the AFL so far in 2021. I'm calling that out now.
Huge for mine.
And if you really don't want to call him that, he's easily the best recruit.
Hey, fun fact. I don't know if I told you this last week, but on my plane home from the Gold Coast, shout out, and this is a legitimate trip. Zach Butters was on my plane. I'm looking. I'm going. Who is that guy with the cut fringe and like the bowl cut?
Did you not think to get an interview?
Nah, he was
you boneheaded fool.
Because his mum was like yelling at him and stuff. So I felt
interview his mum.
Nah, his mum was like screaming like.
No one's ever had an interview with Zach Butters' mum.
Come along, Port.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I couldn't do it. I was like, oh man, like I went up to Cody Simpson that week and was talking to Cody Simpson. Shout out, he's a good bloke. I couldn't do it. I couldn't go up to Zach Butters' mum. So I've gone to the superstar with 3.whatever million Instagram followers, but Zach Butters' mum, she was scary as dude.
Scary.
She was yelling and shit.
Listen, anyone that just the phrase "excuse me, Mrs. Butters," you'd have been fine. You'd have been fine.
Nah, she was yelling at Zach, and he had a weird looking haircut going on too. But good player.
Baby.
I'm sad he's out.
Baby ass. Anyways, let's move on. Let me get some bets out the road. Carl Amon, 20 plus touches. And you get on that train as long as you can, up until Riley Bonner comes back.
Yep.
Then when I think Bonner comes back, those touches drop a bit. But Carl Amon, 20 plus. Boak, 25. Stinky McCarthy, anytime goal.
Oh, Linky Stinky.
I don't like that.
And Stephen Motlop, anytime goal.
I've had enough of Stinky. I don't like him. He ruins my multis every single week.
He got up last week.
Nah, I just had enough of it though.
He got up last week.
He won't do anything.
That's paying about $5 there for that.
Won't do jack this week. I like Port at the line. Set at 4.5 at the moment. Easy.
That's not bad.
And a Robbie Gray goal. Just about good for it every week.
I think he is, yeah. And he seems to be sitting at like $1.20. Oh, sorry, apologies. But he seems to be sitting about $1.25 every week, and we love that. And, look, I'm a dummy for that. You're a dummy for everything that's going on here. You're a dummy for talking about kids and sucking, which means it's clearly time for this week's...
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Dummy of the week.
Yes, it's time for this week's Dummy of the Week. I got a big triple header. For Dummy this week, and I don't know which one to do. So they're all worthy. They're all worthy, I think. So the most recent one, I'll start from most recent and work my way back chronologically, reverse order. First thing I'll get out the spit it out here. So Chris Fagan reckons that we need to go back to the shortened quarters this year because there's too many injuries to blokes, and going back to the shorter quarters in addition to more rotations, that's gonna solve that. The issue being that, well, Lachie Neale's out and Dusty Martin's out. And Lance Franklin's out. There's all these stars that are out, and it's an injury crisis. And what's going to fix it? Shorter quarters. Never mind the fact that Lachie Neale is suffering from syndesmosis.
Oh.
Right. Lance Franklin.
Buzzword.
It is. Lance Franklin's got
Soft cockitis.
cheapest bone bruising on the knee.
Oh.
And,
So soft cockitis there.
and Dustin Martin with a concussion.
Yeah, big head wobbles.
How are these three injuries related? No, it's the shorter quarters. That's what it'd fix them.
I mean, again,
that's what it'd fix them,
Like,
shorter quarters.
Lachie Neale was getting beaten pillar to post on Saturday night. It wouldn't have mattered who they were. Well, if the quarters were 2 minutes long, Carlton wanted blood, and they got it. They got it big time.
Well, I mean...
I mean, look, we've given Fags a lot of praise on this show.
Yes.
I'm seriously thinking about revoking it. Do not
For this week.
Do not take footy away from us again, Fags.
Can you just
Do
make
not do
Brisbane
it.
a good side again?
Yeah,
Can you just worry about that,
worry
please?
about
Brisbane
that.
great again.
Yeah, worry about that.
Make them the phenom that they could have been this year.
Chuck,
and then
chuck the red Mabba hat on.
But I mean, come on. So
Yeah.
it's a crisis because there's three stars that have got injuries. Well, what about everyone else?
Don't want to hear it.
If you look at the injury lists currently at the minute, I dare say it would be more or less pretty much even as much as what it was every year.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? You know, the Gold Coast Suns get a million injuries and no one bats an eyelid. To quote the Joker, Gold Coast Suns get a bunch of injuries and no one bats an eyelid. Dustin Martin has a concussion. Everyone loses their minds. And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, don't want to hear it, Fags.
There's no crisis. That's stupid. Now, Mike Sheehan. It's been a while since Big Mike's got a Guernsey on this show.
the old Chizzer.
Now, he's put here a list of the top 5 biggest, most brutal rivalries in the AFL.
Good.
Okay.
Oh, this is going to hurt me, Richie. Can you just give me a... It's on Dummy of the Week.
Top 6.
It's
So top 6. I don't know why he went for 6, but he just did.
Top 6.
So top 6, he went Carlton Richmond in the 70s and 80s. That's fine.
Yep.
Who do you think was 5th?
Oh, I can't.
Battle of the Bridge.
No, Collingwood Carlton, 1970s.
I respect it.
Let's go to 4th. Essendon Hawthorn, 1980s. 3rd, North Melbourne versus Essendon, 1990s and 2000s. There's a theme here. Do you think we're going to get outside the state at any point?
No.
Well, that's where you're wrong, kiddo. Sydney West Coast 2000s. Don't mind that one. And his top one, his biggest rivalry of all time is Geelong Hawthorn 2000s and 2010s. Sorry, but do the Adelaide Crows and Port Adelaide Power exist in his mind?
No.
Is that not the best rivalry in Australian football, Australian sport today?
You can call us biased, and that's fine. But it actually is the best rivalry
Do you know
in
what?
football today.
I even thought, what about Freo West Coast? I know that Freo gets smashed every time, but I watched the highlights from the 2000 game. You know, the game where they just beat. There's a name for it, and I don't know, but
Which one? Which teams?
West Coast, the
West Coast
The Demolition
Freo.
Derby.
Yeah.
That's right. They beat the shit out of each other, and from that, they should be on the list.
But there is genuine feeling there. There is genuine feeling between West Coast and Fremantle. I'm actually quite surprised he didn't give it the old Western Bulldogs and GWS.
No, it was just Victoria. Victoria. No. What's that? South Australia? Nah. Victoria. Just couldn't. Classic. Mate, get your hand off it, son.
Classic.
Sam Newman once said on the Footy Show, it doesn't matter where these two teams on the ladder when they come into a showdown for Crows and Power, they always make a fist of it. They always have a go at it. It doesn't seem to matter because anyone could knock anyone else off.
Yep.
And he's apart from that little blank patch that Port had in the mid 2010s there, he's pretty much spot on. So Mike, you're off, mate. Just go back to the nursing home and watch your VFL
on that
games.
quickly, they well and truly deserve to have one showdown on a Friday night. Absolutely well and
but
truly
Victorians
deserve it.
won't watch it.
Yeah, they will.
It's football.
Yeah.
It would be arguably the best game of the round, no matter which round it's on. Friday night footy, bang, put it on.
Done.
But packed house. So what would happen if the Crows and Power made like an elimination final? Would they just not show it in Victoria that weekend?
Nah.
No, it just wouldn't show it.
No, Sunday
They'd
Arvo.
want to play at the MCG, would they?
Just. Well, Mike Sheehan wouldn't watch it.
Yeah, Damien Barrett, I swear, that's where he wants it.
Mike Sheehan wouldn't watch it.
Nah.
They'd be that, what's these two newfangled teams in the
Boring,
in the VFL? No, I'm not having that. And the absolute biggest dummy of the week for mine, I know I said I couldn't decide, but I can decide. It was Jared Waitley stating that De Goey and Howe, checking their phones out, spits in the face of the integrity of the AFL, and no one's going to take integrity seriously. And what the punishment should be for these two guys is, let's say, an 11-week ban and $1 million fine. And that'll make them take it seriously, the integrity of the AFL. $1 million fine. I might be off on the 11 weeks. It was like 10 weeks, something like that, but $1 million fine.
You know when they say, like, when you see like a kid that's a spoiled brat and you're like, oh, he wasn't smacked as a child? It's like the opposite. He must have been like smacked too much.
It's just.
I mean, I don't expect you to be across the financial position of every club in the AFL there, Des. But do you think a lot of these clubs, especially coming off COVID, could actually survive if they got docked $1 million?
No.
They'd go under.
Of course they would.
Or because one of their players touched their phone a little bit early.
Well, I get what he's saying.
I'm not saying there's nothing like the integrity.
Yeah, but if you're going to make a point,
no integrity.
If you're going to, and this is coming from me, if you want to make a legitimate point, you can't make a dick of yourself.
You go so far overboard, everyone just doesn't want to live.
That's
exactly what he's done right now.
Makes it like an idiot.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, let the punishment fit the crime, Jared.
Come on,
let the punishment fit the crime. If I'm going to get 10
I'd hate
weeks...
to be his kid. I would hate to be his kid.
Right, let's say...
You're losing your Xbox for 6 months for stealing Mum's ham.
Yeah, imagine that. Now, look, if I'm going to go into the room and pick up my phone and message Mum to say, yeah, I know I just copped one in the scone, but I'm actually not dead, so don't worry, I'll see you after the game. Oh, shit, I shouldn't touch my phone. Oh, now I'm looking at 10 weeks. Oh, now I'm docked $1 million. I'm going to get dressed up like Rey Mysterio and sprint out onto the field, just start decking blokes, just open, just punching them. Because if I'm going to be gone for 10 weeks, I'm going to earn my 10 weeks.
Exactly right. I was just going to say go big Baz Barry Hall mode.
I'm going to earn my 10 weeks. I'm going to headbutt an umpire. I don't care.
Yeah, get it.
I don't care.
Get it, son. Absolutely.
I'm going to headbutt Jared Waitley.
Just before we finish off this...
That's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Before we finish off this segment, I also have 3. So,
what I'm thinking is, can we do a double edition at the end of the show? Can we save your 3 and we'll finish on them?
Sure. Done.
6 dummies for the price of 1. Desmond, quick maths.
And they're all dumb too.
They are all dumb.
Which is nice.
Let us have a look now at the first Sunday game at Blundstone Arena in Tasmania between the North Melbourne Kangaroos and the Melbourne Demons. I think we all know what's going to happen here. Desmond, punch through this one, man. Go.
D60 plus. I've done 2 60 pluses this week. D60 plus. I want to see what it's paying as well. I just got to call a quick Rwandan sports bet account again.
Des loves the gilfs. He's all about the 60 pluses.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a bit of a 60 plus week this week.
All I've got written down here is rudimentary Melbourne win.
True. Look, North's only hope is that it's in Tasmania, and that's it. And even though it's barely a hope, that is barely a hope at all.
Absolutely.
It's not a hope.
It's I mean,
so
look,
you can't.
Sorry, North, but Demons too fast, too skillful, too confident at the minute to be challenged. I mean, you got Zeeble doing a bit. He's a one-man band. Cynical folk are saying he's stat padding, but name me someone else in that team who's working as hard and getting the pill.
That's true.
No one.
D's 100 plus is 850. I don't know. I have a feeling they won't win 100 plus.
That's really low for 100 plus.
It's really low.
I think they will
considering
take
the Cats were
gas.
$11 for 60 plus before.
Yeah, and they're paying $1.91 for 60 plus.
$1.91.
That is the biggest insult. Well, is it though? No, actually not really. It's just funny.
But just keep your money in your pocket.
Just don't bother with that one.
It's not even an insult though. It's relevant. Like that's probably value.
No worse time to be North right now. Salem's in all Australian form. Langdon and Viney not far behind. Clary and Track are just looking delicious. Gorn all Australian form. Mm-hmm. The Roos just it's all turnovers and no skills.
They just beat the reigning premiers. Even if they take North Melbourne lightly, they're still going to win by 50 points. Imagine that. Imagine beating Richmond. We sort
of alluded to it last week. Like the Brownlow is going to come from either Melbourne or the Dogs at this rate. Yep. North is in the wrong place at the wrong time. After copping that hiding from the Dogs a few weeks ago.
I'm so sorry.
At the start of the season, they probably would have looked at this fixture and been like, "Look, it's an ordinary opening couple of months, but we'll get through it." It has been horrendous.
Oh.
Absolutely horrendous.
Oh, shocking stuff. I don't want to talk about this game anymore.
Not going to get any better. Nah, Zeeble 30 plus, lock it in.
There you go.
He still plays well. I watched a little bit of that for a North Melbourne game, and geez, I don't know how he gets hate, that guy. He doesn't deserve it.
He does his bit.
He doesn't deserve to be playing for North Melbourne. He should come down to Adelaide.
If he gets injured, oh, mate, death.
If he gets injured, the commentary teams will be wishing there was a stat patter in that back line because there will be nothing. Wasteland.
Death. I got a 4-legger for this one. Trent Rivers 15 plus, Salem 25, Jaden Stevenson 15 plus, and Big Clary Oliver. I reckon he'll got 35 this week.
I'm actually going to be completely honest with you. I'll just say I hate Salem 25 plus this week. I don't think the ball's going to be down there enough for him to get 25. To be honest with you,
he'll run through the middle.
Nah,
he'll run through the middle. I like it. $5.40 for that lot. Take that. Have you had enough of that game?
Hurts me. Let's move on.
Had enough of that game. Second Sunday game at the MCG is the Essendon Bombers versus the Carlton Blues. One of Mike Sheehan's old rivalries. It's rivalry round from 60 years ago, you white dog. Tell me about it, Dan.
Well, white dog, fair enough. All right. look, no one else outside of Victoria has cared about this rivalry
since Mike Sheen was a boy in pants.
Exactly right. Yeah, I mean, there's tradition and history there, but do we really give a shit?
Oh,
No.
well,
I mean, neither of these teams are in cracking hot form. The Dons won because they were playing the Pies.
Yeah,
The Blues did what the Blues do and turned up to the ground to play Brisbane. Got through 4 quarters and got back on the team bus again. I mean, really, in this game, there's not a lot to get excited about. You would think I'm going to be tipping the Blues 1-39, but I feel so dirty about it.
Oh, yeah.
I feel so gross.
I deliberated on this one a bit.
Don't like it at all.
I got the Bombers 1-39. I'm going to jump on the other side because I know, and I ride Carlton because they've disappointed me so much. But besides Sam Walsh and there's a couple of other moments in games. But Bombers have shown that they can play somewhat good footy.
Mm.
Carlton haven't shown anything. They're just there might be moments, but
as I said, mate, they rock up to the ground, and that's
for what they could be. It hurts because of what
win.
they could be, but it's just like. Do you know what?
Do you get the feeling that everyone outside of Walsh and Cripps is just trying to be a hero for themselves? Do you know what I mean? Like, you just watch them and you just don't see that two-way running. It seems like anyone who's got the ball within, say, 60 metres of goal seems like they want to bomb it and will just have a crack at it. Like, go for Harry McKay. Because he is flying under the radar compared to some other key forwards at the minute in terms of just elite forward craft. I'm really liking him.
I mean, you are correct. Like, realistically, Walsh... Cripps is having moments, but even he doesn't look at his best. Mackay and Doherty, that's it.
Yeah, I'll say Doherty's
in a 22-man team, you cannot have 4 blokes putting graft.
That whole
3.5.
second tier sucks. Did you see Liam Stocker? He kicked a goal for the others. He kicked a goal through the wrong goals last week.
Did you see it?
I didn't see that, but
if he kicked it at the other end, goal of the year contender.
Hands down.
He was trying to chip it across the face of goal from the pocket and slotted it straight through the middle.
And laughed about it afterward. How's that for your mindset? Laughed about
I've got a new dummy of the week, that bloke.
I mean,
what an idiot.
To be fair, you actually just ruined one of my dummies, so
I'll
cut it down to 2. But that one was only a gag dummy anyway.
Yeah, that's
If
dummy
it
of the
wasn't a
week.
gag, you can't laugh about that.
That's the
stupid.
Des
You
dummy of
can't
the
laugh
week.
about
No,
that.
no.
Oh, what a clown.
I'm just going to move on to my bets because I've had enough talking about these two teams.
Go.
Darcy Parish, 25 plus, had an absolute field day against the Pies. I think he had 43 disposals.
About 42 and a goal, yeah.
Him and Dane Swan, the only 2 blokes to go 40 plus on Anzac Day, just quietly.
Cooliest doolies.
And Jordan Ridley, 25 plus. Carlton's going to be doing that bombing it in lark, and Jordan Ridley's going to be gobbling them all up.
Does that every time.
Chewing. No, look, I know you're down on the Bombers. I think if they played like this last year, Danaher wouldn't have left. I put that to you. I think there's a real fresh breeze blowing at Windy Hill. It's a pun.
He was
And
he was going, mate.
yeah, probably. But look, Parish
Still a
though.
funny pun.
Parish emerging, absolutely. McGrath seems to be going backwards
Parish.
though, which is weird. Parish going this way,
Good
McGrath
football.
going that way.
Thank God.
He can
It's
football.
taken him 40 years.
About
It's
that.
taken him my lifetime.
He's older than Mike Sheen, but he's finally got there. Heppel and Merritt working great at the minute, especially Heppel. Looking really rejuvenated considering how injured he was. Whereas Carlton, as you said,
Nice little bruise-free roll off the halfback. You got to love that in your twilight years.
Oh, you do, yeah.
It's good.
put him out to pasture. Let him
Absolutely.
go for it. Look, Nick Hines, 20 plus touches for mine. Merritt, 30 plus for mine. Darcy Parish, 25 plus for mine. Harry Mackay, however you want to pronounce him. Anytime goal scorer in the third.
Hazza.
Yeah, that'll do. Big H. Big H.
Big H bag.
Big H. Heodore. Harry Mackay, anytime goal scorer in the third. If you check his stats over the last, I think, 5 to 6 weeks, he has kicked a goal in every third quarter that he's played in.
Oh,
Sure.
stats don't lie. As Shakira said, hips don't lie.
And that's paying $5 for that for. There you go. That'll do. Right, last game of the round. Last game of the round. And they said we'd never get there. Third Sunday game, of course, is at Optus Stadium. It's the derby, Des. It's the derby.
I wish this
Don't
was
they
the
call it
demolition
derby?
derby.
No, it's derby. It's spelt derby. They pronounce it derby.
I'm pretty sure they call it the Derby.
I promise you it's derby.
I'm almost certain.
Well,
Anyway,
I'll
promise
find
you it's
out next
derby.
week.
West
I'm
Coast
on
Eagles.
derby duty.
Derby.
Derby
I don't care.
derby.
Whatever way they pronounce it, it's wrong.
West Coast Fremantle, if you didn't
Boo.
know that one. Okay, fellas, look, I don't want to dump on West Coast. I like a lot of the blokes that's on that team, or there's certainly some blokes on that team that I don't hate. But look, how's the resilience? Zero. Absolutely zero. I mean, I
How's
didn't.
the cojones?
Oh
Zero.
my! Just no resilience at all. They're not a contender anymore. You can't put them in the same field as Richmond, the Dogs, Power, Melbourne. You can't put them in that same conversation after going to Geelong and getting pounded by twice as many points as what North did the previous week.
Ouch.
You can't do that. So
Go North.
look,
That's a win. That's a win for North Melbourne. That's their only win of the year.
we're not as bad as some others. That's amazing. Whereas, look, Free on the other hand, they work the guts out. They don't always get rewarded. They have been rewarded the last 2 weeks. Good for them. And I think they're going to recall, because they played 2 trial matches against the Eagles in the preseason. I think they'd won both of them. So they're going to rate themselves just a little bit internally. Now, also, no Yo, no Shuey. Could that be the difference, especially with Fife and Mundy looking elite at the minute?
I'd love it to be.
Could
But,
Nick-
but I don't think so.
I don't think so. I know I'm talking up.
I'd love it. I would love it
Big
so
Reginald
much.
Mundfoss, he is looking elite. A fine wine.
Yeah.
He is.
It's unbelievable.
He's just getting better. He's getting better with age, and it's great.
I mean,
to
and
see.
not only that, he's 36, I think, now.
Something like that.
He's playing more midfield than he has in the last 3 seasons.
Ever.
Yeah, he's done the reverse Dyson Heffel. He's gone out of the forward line,
Get me in there now.
back into the middle. Love it.
Look, I think Nick Nat's going to feed, to be honest with you, and we know that West Coast like it at home. Freo don't seem to really turn up in the derbies, whatever you want to call them. But the big thing is that if there's no Brennan Cox, who's still out injured, that is a minuscule little back line that Fremantle's got against your big targets in Allen, Kennedy, Darling, even Vardy's a big boy as well. All you have to do is just get it north of the centre square, and they're going to have aerial supremacy. So I reckon I've actually got a couple of different ones. You can choose your own adventure this week. If you want to do 2 or more goals for Darling and Kennedy and Oscar Allen, that's paying about $2.80 for those 3 legs.
That's easy.
It's not wild, but I feel
I think
like
that's fine, though.
easy way to triple
I
your
mean,
money, I think.
look, really, you just double down on my analysis. I actually don't care if West Coast win this, because I firmly expect them to win it, to be honest with you.
As we said with the rivalry, like, it's a dummy of the week rivalry. Like, it's always a great rivalry. We always know who's going to win. Like, it's always, I don't ever remember Fremantle actually beating them. Do you guys? Maybe in 2013 when they made the granny.
I
I don't remember it. I don't remember. Like, it's not a memorable moment.
Realistically, all it will do, if they do win, it just confirms that they're just gutless, flat track bullies. So I really couldn't care less. I actually much prefer Freo to get a win here.
I'd love to see
So
Freo.
would
I
I.
think they deserve it.
Absolutely, they do. Like you said, they work their guts out. They run all game. And guys like Mundy and Fife, like, they deserve to have a bit of success. Sarong looked great last week. Finally had a monster game.
Was nice.
So I'm going to tip the Eagles 1-39, but I really want the Dockers to
Prove us wrong, Freo.
The head says Eagles, but the heart wants Dockers. The heart wants Dockers. Fellas, that's 9 games, but we are going to finish on a bumper edition of Dummy of the Week, because Sensible Dan, he's got a couple of cutlers. So, Dan, before we leave the good folk at home, give me some dummies.
All right. So I already alluded to Liam Stocker. You have to watch that if you haven't seen it already.
It's
I can't believe I haven't seen this.
I mean,
It's ridiculous.
like I said, other end of the field, goal of the year contender.
Is that the ball that hit that poor kid in the head?
That was funny as well.
Quick little dummy of the week edition though? That dad,
Yeah.
how good. Your son can barely hold his arms out.
The kid's the size of the football.
That's awesome.
Hey, kid, it's coming in hot. Put your hands up.
Unbelievable.
Here comes
That's
God.
so funny.
The Crows for Tom Lynch fiasco.
Oh, my
We've already
God.
discussed it a little bit, so I just didn't want to delve into it much further. But I mean, that's one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. And no one's got any experience with the sub, so we don't really know how to work and all that sort of stuff.
Still.
That is not how you do it. Absolutely not how you do it.
Don't put in a bloke with an injury.
No.
Done.
So stupid. I mean, everyone already said it. Chase Jones. We don't really get much out of him, personally, as a group.
Hometown?
But it's his hometown. If he's ever going to perk up and play, you would think on his home deck that he grew up playing footy on, surely.
And he had, 20-odd touches in the twos. He'd have been better than Lynchy.
Absolutely.
I like Lynchy, but he wasn't right
for
for that
starters,
game.
he had 2 working legs, which
What-
is, just about what you need. Lastly, though, we all love Jack Siebel, right? And this isn't to do with him personally, but I was sitting there Sunday morning, as I said I would be, watching the North and Freo game. First half, Jack Siebel's he's just not doing enough down back. This is to Derm, Kingy, and Adam Papalia, by the way, the commentary team. Just not getting much out of Siebel. He's just, all this chip mark stuff. He's got to be doing more back there. Second half rolls around. We just love Jack Siebel down back, don't we? I mean, he's just so courageous. He doesn't always make the right decisions with the ball, but geez, he's having a crack down back. Do you listen to yourselves? Honest to God, it was like 40 minutes difference between the two opinions, and they're all yapping on They all agreed with each other that Jack Zeeble was playing like crap, and then all agreed with each other that he was playing great and a courageous leader. Just the right captain for the footy club, I believe Derm said.
Sounds like my opinion of Melbourne throughout from round 1 to round 6. Melbourne are dirt. Melbourne are good.
So bad. The commentary on Fox Footy has absolutely never been worse.
Again, prove us wrong. We just want good commentary. Pick a side and stick with it.
I prefer the Bev show at this point.
Said no one ever.
Yippity do.
And on that happy note, thank you for joining us this week for round 7. We will see you again next week, and we'll play another game of Where in the World is Desmond Van Buss for round 8. Have a good weekend, and of course, none of this is financial advice. Actually, before we bail, how do we get in touch with the fellas on the? How do people get in touch with us?
You broke up my little Leroy. I was gonna.
We'll get there.
Nah, look. If you want to find us, Armchair Advisors on Facebook. If you want to go to our YouTube, that's where we are rolling out all our content now. So Armchair Advisors on YouTube.
And we get around the comments as well. Shout out to
comment, subscribe.
Shout out to Connecting Dots on YouTube. Gets around the comments. Shout out to all of the good cobs that get in touch. We do get back in touch with you as well.
Appreciate it.
Big ups. And obviously on Instagram and Twitter at ArmchairAD.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. See you next week. Take it easy.
Rest in peace, Leroy.